What's up, guys? Obviously, every single playoff loss hurts. But in the NFL, some losses sting more than others. Nobody wants to go home in the wild card round, especially when they have the makings of a Super Bowl championship team. Some of the best regular season teams in NFL history weren't fortunate enough to secure a first-round bye, and that meant their misfortunes continued with a disappointing one-and-done performance in the playoffs. I'm Jason Biondo, and today we present the 10 best NFL teams that were eliminated in the wild card round. Don't forget to subscribe to TPS and put on your notifications because we post videos every single day. Every day is a new video, so you should definitely subscribe. It's a good idea. Go, hit the button now. And a big shout out to Mason the Boss 123 for suggesting this video. You the boss, Mason. But first, a couple of honorable mentions. 2005 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 3 years removed from a Super Bowl championship, the Bucs allowed just 17.1 points per game and won the NFC South with an 11-5 record. The Washington Redskins upset them 17-10, however, a promising season went to complete waste. The 1993 Detroit Lions. Another excellent season from Barry Sanders led the Lions to an NFC Central Division title, but Brett Favre finds Sterling Sharp for the late game winning touchdown, and the Packers shock over 68,000 fans in the Silverdome. The 2015 Minnesota Vikings. With a stingy defense and young QB Teddy Bridgewater, Minnesota wins 11 games to capture the NFC North. Blair Walsh completely misses a game-winning 27-yard field goal in the waning seconds. The Seahawks move on, and he goes home. Now to the real list. Number 10, the 2015 Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals actually tied the Denver Broncos and New England Patriots for best records in the AFC at 12-4. But since he got unlucky with the tiebreaker and missed out on a first-round bye, so they had to host the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild card round. 7 Bengals went to the Pro Bowl in 2015. Andy Dalton enjoyed arguably his finest season as a pro before a thumb injury in Week 14 ended his campaign. Backup A.J. McCarron played well in relief and helped Cincy clinch the AFC North crown. But the Bengals made costly mistakes and took careless penalties late in the fourth quarter. Vontaze Burfict's headshot to Antonio Brown set up an easy game-winning field goal for Chris Boswell, and one of the best seasons in Bengals history went to waste. But hey, their fans are quite accustomed to this, so it's cool. And Marv Lewis is gone now, so that's something to look forward to, I guess. Number 9, 1978 Miami Dolphins. Coached by the legendary Don Shula, Miami rode a high-powered offense that scored 23.3 points per game, second most in the NFL. Bob Greasy and Don Strock split the quarterback duties. Delvin Williams had 1,258 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns, and the stingy Miami defense allowed just 15.9 points per game. Unfortunately, Miami's bid for the third Super Bowl in the 70s came up short. The Houston Oilers defense got the best of Miami on Wild Card weekend, and they escaped with a 17-9 victory on the road. And the Dolphins saw one of their best seasons ever come to an abrupt end. Number 8, 2002 Green Bay Packers. Looking for their second Super Bowl championship in the Brett Favre era, Green Bay Packers had all the pieces in place. Favre, Amon, and Donald Driver formed quite the offensive trio, one that led Green Bay to 12 wins. The Packers hosted Michael Vick's Atlanta Falcons at Lambeau Field for Wild Card weekend, but somebody forgot to tell Green Bay there was a game to be played. The Falcons absolutely pummeled the Pack into the frozen tundra, running away with a 27-7 victory. Fun fact, this was Green Bay's first ever home playoff loss. All good things must come to an end, and the Packers' impressive streak did just that on this depressing January night. Number 7, 1984 Los Angeles Raiders. The defending champions avoided the infamous Super Bowl hangover and finished the regular season with an 11-5 record. They had top 10 scoring units on both offense and defense. This juggernaut offense was led by legendary running back Marcus Allen and star tight end Todd Christensen. The Raiders had the pieces in place to make another run at the Lombardi Trophy, but unfortunately the 12-4 Seattle Seahawks were a pretty darn good wild card team as well. The Seahawks destroyed the Raider offense, winning 13-7 and advancing to the next round. For the Raiders, this somewhat marked the beginning of the end for their dynasty that won 3 Super Bowls. Number 6, 1983 Dallas Cowboys. Quarterback Danny White shined once again in the post-Roger Staubach era, tossing 29 touchdown passes and leading Dallas to a 12-win season. Tony Dorsett had another outstanding year with 1,321 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. The Cowboys averaged a whopping 29.9 points per game that season. Good for second in the NFL. America's team hosted the 9-7 Los Angeles Rams in the wild card round, a game in which just about everybody outside LA expected Dallas to win. But Vince Ferragamo outdueled White. It remains one of the biggest wild card upsets to date. Number 5, 2010 New Orleans Saints. The Saints brought back virtually every key piece from their Super Bowl 44 championship team. Drew Brees had another MVP-like season, but the Saints couldn't topple the 13-3 Atlanta Falcons for the NFC South crown this time. The Saints still won 11 games and drew the most favorable wild card matchup in the history of favorable wild card matchups. That opponent would be the 7-9 Seattle Seahawks. Yes, a team that won 7 games made the postseason. Pretty ridiculous, right? The Saints jumped out to a 10-0 lead, but the Seahawks decided to be an offensive juggernaut that day. Matt Hasselbeck tossed 4 touchdowns in his final home game as a Seahawk. Marshawn Lynch sealed the game with the infamous Beastquake run, and the 7-win Seahawks upset the defending champions in one of the greatest feel-good stories in NFL history. Number 4, 2008 Indianapolis Colts. After a sluggish 3-4 start to the season, Peyton Manning led the Colts to 11 straight wins to finish out the season. Their 12 wins were only good enough to secure a wild card spot, as the Tennessee Titans secured the AFC South with a 13-3 record. Manning won the MVP award after throwing for 4,002 yards and 27 touchdowns. Their reward? A road playoff game against the San Diego Chargers, who clinched the AFC West in Week 17 with a mere 8-8 record. But Manning's longtime kryptonite got the better of him in this one. The Chargers used a strong rushing game and stingy defensive effort to force the game into overtime. Darren Sproles scored on a 22-yard touchdown to walk it off, giving the Chargers an unlikely 23-17 victory over the powerhouse Colts. And once again, Manning's teammates ruined another one of his MVP seasons. What a shock. Number 3, 1998 Green Bay Packers. The Packers were looking to reach their 3rd straight Super Bowl appearance, coming off a crushing 31-24 defeat at the hands of John Elway's Denver Broncos. Green Bay won 11 games in 1998, with Brett Favre tossing 31 touchdowns and Reggie White recording 16 sacks en route to the Defensive Player of the Year award. The Packers visited the San Francisco 49ers in the wild card round, looking to defeat their rivals in the postseason for a 4th straight year. Favre found Antonio Freeman in the end zone for a go-ahead touchdown with under 2 minutes left. But with only seconds remaining, Steve Young hit Terrell Owens in the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. And with that, one of the finest seasons in Packers history ended on a brutal defensive breakdown. Number 2, 1992 New Orleans Saints. Coached by Jim Mora, the long, struggling New Orleans Saints franchise gave their fans some hope with a dominant defense in 1992. This unit was one of the best ever, allowing just 12.6 points per game, the fewest in NFL that year. 3 players had double-digit sacks, led by Wayne Martin's 15.5. Defensive back Toy Cook picked off 6 passes. The offense wasn't great, but quarterback Bobby Hebert did just enough to complement the D. That's what she said. Sadly, that historically dominant Saints defense didn't show up when it mattered most. The Philadelphia Eagles came into town on Wild Card weekend and manhandled New Orleans by a final score of 36-20. Hebert threw 3 interceptions in the game, and the Saints saw their Super Bowl aspirations end with one of the most embarrassing losses in their franchise's history. I mean, they're good this year. That's good. Number 1, 2011 Pittsburgh Steelers. The defending AFC champions had everything in place to reach another Super Bowl. Their defense allowed just 14.2 points per game, fewest in the NFL that year. But Roethlisberger had one of his best seasons, while Mike Wallace and Antonio Brown enjoyed 1,000-yard seasons. Pittsburgh finished 12-4 and secured a wild card spot as the AFC North rival Baltimore Ravens took home the division title. Pittsburgh was a trendy pick to reach the AFC Championship game given their experience and balance on both sides of the ball. However, Tim Tebow and the 8-win Denver Broncos came to play on Wild Card weekend. The former Heisman Trophy winner had 316 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, torching the league's best defense. He hit Demaryius Thomas for an 80-yard touchdown on the first play in overtime, sealing the Broncos' monumental upset. It was perhaps the biggest upset in Wild Card history, and the defending AFC champions went home earlier than anyone could have imagined. Who do you think is the best team that was eliminated in the wild card round? Join us in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and Total Pro Sports on social media. We post great content all the time. At least like go check out our profiles and like go take a look. Be like, oh wow, I like that tweet. Oh, that's a funny Instagram. And like, yeah, check it out. And if you don't like us, don't follow us. And if you do, follow us. We really appreciate it. We also appreciate likes. So if you like this video, give it a like. It takes one click right down there. Please, that'd be really cool if you did. If this is your first time around TPS, make sure to subscribe because we post videos every single day. Every day is a new video, so you should definitely subscribe. Of course, thanks so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.